Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv, and welcome to this preview for the Everton game that is going on tomorrow. Well, first off, what we're going to do very quickly is talk about Peps' press conference today. Well, he was asked about Sergio, and he said Sergio's been out for 1 year. He's ready from the bench, he claimed yesterday. On Gundogan, he said Gundogan is not available, and neither is Nathan Ake. On Kevin De Bruyne, he said he's trained fully so far today, and he's feeling much better. So whether we'll see Kevin De Bruyne on the bench tomorrow, I guess we'll wait and see. Somebody asked him about, do you feel invincible at the moment? He went, no, every game is what's important. We just basically play every single game, and that is it. On Carlo Ancelotti, he says Everton have come a long way. His players have to just realise that there will be good moments and there'll be bad moments. Somebody else, another journalist, said, well, you didn't mention Ruben Diaz. What about Ruben Diaz? And he said he is fit, he's trained, and he's over his bout of illness. So that's great news for Manchester City. On the Champions League, he says all we do is think about Everton, then Arsenal, then we have 3 days to talk about Borussia Mönchengladbach, and asked whether he would be rotating players. He said, look, I'm going to play as many players as possible over the next few games, so expect changes. There you go. So that might influence how we take the next couple of games against Everton versus the Arsenal game at the weekend. And he said, look, we need to be consistent at the back. Somebody was talking about whether it's all about our defenders. He went, look, we are consistent at the back, but everybody else needs to be consistent. Somebody sort of threw in a grenade about Jurgen Klopp and asked whether, do you have sympathy for him? And he said, look, his philosophy makes football attractive for the fans especially. No doubt about him. There are absolutely no doubts about him. Sometimes, he said, sometimes you have to lose. He said, and I speak personally about this because when you lose and you go on a bad run of form, it makes you more satisfied when you come back from that. Somebody said about you currently, is this perfection for you? And he said, you never get that. 2 months ago, we were in the Premier League, and all of a sudden people were doubting us. And now, because of where we are, suddenly we're going to win it. He said also about Everton, he said, we will drop points for sure this season. He said, I want to see a reaction from my players when that happens. So Peps even thinking now, there's a long way to go, and we could potentially drop points. On John Stones, he said, listen, I said to him, it's down to you. And he's organised his life off the field. He's not injured anymore. He's turned himself around. It's nothing to do with the manager. It's totally down to him, which is great news. On the Champions League, again, another question was about whether the fact that the legs now have been changed to Budapest instead of Germany. And he said teams are played away from home. And he said, look, listen, Real Madrid last year, there were no spectators for our home leg when we played Real Madrid. But I'm not sure, he said, whether we can fly to Budapest and not Germany. I don't understand that. But it's difficult, and it is what it is, and we just have to crack on with it, basically. So that was Pep Guardiola's press conference today on the Everton game. There were lots and lots of questions in there with regards to the Champions League, when he was trying to focus on Everton's game tomorrow. And then obviously we still got Arsenal in between that before we play Borussia Mönchengladbach in Budapest. But anyway, I was chatting to Cameron from the Mighty Blues, and we were previewing the game tomorrow. And what I did was I sent him over some questions, and he kindly recorded a video for me. And I asked him some questions that were, and I will just bring them up. And that was thoughts on your season so far. Disappointing defeat to Fulham. Has that ruined your top 4 hopes? And where do you see you finishing this season? Tough game against us on Wednesday, considering the current form of Man City. Where do you see the game going? Your player or players we need to be careful of, and obviously his team lineup and score predictions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Cameron's video and what he had to say about my questions to him, and then I will come back and I will answer his questions. So this is Cameron from the Mighty Blues.
Hello everyone over on Man City Fan TV. My name is Cameron. I run the Everton fan channel, The Mighty Blues. Andy has kindly asked me to come on to give my thoughts on tomorrow's Premier League fixture between Everton and Manchester City at Goodison Park. Obviously a very, very difficult fixture for Everton coming into it against the Manchester City side, who have been in fantastic form so far this season. Andy has asked me a number of questions to answer, so I'm going to go through them today. He has asked firstly my thoughts on the season so far. I think Everton have had quite an up and down season so far. Generally, it's been quite good. Obviously, we've had some fantastic results. Beating Spurs away on the opening day of the season was exceptional. We then went on a 7-game win streak in all competitions, 4 in the Premier League. We then had a little bit of a dip in form where we lost to the likes of Southampton, Newcastle, and then obviously we pulled it back, beat Chelsea at Goodison Park, beat Arsenal, beat Leicester away, and since then it's sort of been topsy-turvy. We've lost a couple of really, really silly games, last one of course being Fulham on Sunday. We lost to Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, West Ham on New Year's Day as well, all games that we would have looked at, before them and thought we should be winning those games of football. But we've also won some games and took some points away from sides that we wouldn't usually be thinking about without Carlo Ancelotti. Manchester United at Old Trafford was a fantastic result in the end. Obviously the FA Cup win against Spurs was absolutely brilliant. The win against Wolves away from home, even Sheffield United on Boxing Day, who were searching for their first win of the season at that point, and we turned up and we won that game of football. So I think it's been a relatively good season so far. I mean, 3 points off of 4th place, only 3 points behind them lot across the road as well, and considering there was a 50-point gap last season, it just shows how much we have improved. But it is frustrating when you're looking at games like Fulham at the weekend, you're looking at, West Ham a couple of weeks back, you're looking at Newcastle a couple of weeks back, and, I've done a little tally before where I picked like 5 or 6 games out, and they weren't games like the United game or, the derby. They were games that, really we should have been winning and we would have expected to win, and if we'd have won those games, we'd have been only a couple of points behind you guys at the top of the table, I think. So it still is frustrating, but it's a transition season. Carlo Ancelotti's building his Everton side, and I think we've done well so far. We're in a quarter-final of the FA Cup as well, obviously coming up against you guys in a couple of weeks' time. So I think it's been decent so far. He also asks, it was a disappointing result against Fulham. Does that ruin your top 4 hopes, and where do you think you will finish this season? I didn't really have top 4 hopes, to be perfectly honest with you anyway, Andy. Obviously coming into this season, we'd had a really, really bad end to last season after the lockdown period. The midfield was dreadful, we were conceding goals constantly, we weren't looking very good going forward either, so I didn't really have a top 4 expectation. And even when we've done well at times this season, the conversation's always been there about, could we finish in the top 4, is that a possibility? But I've never really jumped on that, because I've known that we're only a couple of results away from being 8th and 9th, 10th. It's a mad season this season. In terms of where I predict us finishing, I'll probably say top 6, top 7ish. Again, it's very, very hard to predict this season because it all depends on, everybody else around you, doesn't it? I mean, like I said, we could have been well in the top 4, maybe even challenging for a title if we'd have won a couple of those games that we expected to win. And if we wouldn't have taken points away from Man United or Wolves away or Leicester away from home, we could be, battling in mid-table. So it's difficult, but I'm going to say definitely within the top 7 or 8. He also asks about it being a tough game tomorrow night, considering Manchester City's form. Where do I see the game going? I think it's going to be difficult, very, very, very difficult, to be perfectly honest with you. I think It's a massive test for Everton. One positive I would take out of that horrible defeat to Fulham was that usually when Everton do lose, and when Everton do lose like that, we have we bounce back, we sort of react, we have a reaction, and we very rarely, turn up the next game and put in another bad performance. We usually bounce back and at least show a bit of fight. Given that, I think even if we do show fight, even if we do show spirit, even if we do show quality, I still think it'll be difficult to get anything out of this game because Manchester City are on fantastic form at the moment. But I'm gonna expect Everton to turn up. I'm gonna expect Everton to make it difficult. I'm gonna expect Everton to fight. I'm gonna expect Everton to show spirit, show passion, show energy. And I suppose we'll see where we go from there. He also asks the player of Everton that you should be careful of. Well, obviously, Carlo Ancelotti's press conference is about to kick off in just a moment. We'll hear an update on whether Alan will be available to start. We'll hear an update on whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be able to start as well. There's a couple of names I'd mention outstanding performance this season. Ben Godfrey has been absolutely exceptional. I think Abdoulaye Doucouré's been brilliant as well. But obviously, I think the answer is James Rodriguez. I mean, he is the player in our team that can create something out of nothing. He's the player that, if you give him a yard of space, he could put the ball on Dominic Calvert-Lewin's foot in the 6-yard box and Everton could get a goal up. He's also capable of hitting one from outside the box himself and putting it into the back of the net. So I think James Rodriguez is the one that you should be careful of. But we've had some outstanding performers this season. Ben Godfrey, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan, who should return as well, have all been very good. And Luca Dean down that left-hand side has been exceptional as well. Best left-back in the league for me. And he also finally asks my team lineup and score prediction. In terms of lineup, I'm going to go with Robin Olsen in goal, a back four of Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, Luca Dean and Ben Godfrey. I'm going for a midfield of Tom Davies, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Alan, and then a front three of James, Dominic Calvert-Lewin if fit, and Richarlison as well. And a score, I'm going to go with 1-1. I'm going to go with Everton putting in a performance, making it hard, making it difficult, and ending that Manchester City winning streak. So there you go. Massive thank you for allowing me to come on the channel and give my thoughts on the game. If you want to check us out, we are the Mighty Blues on YouTube, Everton fan channel, previews, reviews, news videos, live streams, videos, the lot, all of that good stuff. So a massive thanks to Andy for letting me come on. I'd say good luck tomorrow, but I don't wish you luck. You don't need any luck, let's be perfectly honest. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, leave it a like. And yeah, back to Andy. Cheers for watching. See you soon.
There you go. That was Cameron from the Mighty Blues, somebody we always speak to before the games at the Etihad, and also when we go down to Goodison Park outside the stadium. Really nice lad. So if you can go over, if you're a football fan, go over and subscribe to the Mighty Blues. You'll find in the description below a link to his YouTube channel and also him on his Twitter account. But he did ask me some questions, and his first one was, what's Pep changed from last season? Well, my thoughts on that to him, as I spoke to him about that, was there are a few players, and I'll go through them individually. And one of them is obviously Phil Foden. Phil Foden has managed to get into our team this season. I'll remove that from there. And has been absolutely incredible. So there you go. Has been absolutely amazing for us, and I think it's really important that we do give some credence to Pep on the way that he's developed gradually. Phil Foden, certainly over the last 18 months, when a lot of players, a lot of fans have been asking for these players like Phil Foden, Howard Bellis and everyone else to be included. The second one for me is John Stones, and the fact that it's like we've signed a brand new player. Cameron, you should know, being an Evertonian, he was great for Everton. We signed him. He was okay for his first season, and then just everything seemed to unfold. And it was, City fans were thinking, what's happened? What, for somebody who was absolutely amazing, what's happened? And I think he had a lot of off-field issues, but he has come back and he has been like another Ruben Dias signing. It's almost like we signed a new player for somebody who potentially was going out the club. all of us thought if anyone's going to be sold, maybe John Stones was. But we're so pleased to see him back, and he has been phenomenal. The other player who we have to give a shout out to is Joao Cancelo. He has been phenomenal so far since Pep changed him from a natural right back and into this sort of false 8 role. Phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. And there's lots of debate about Walker versus Cancelo. Walker for me is a better defender, but Cancelo is far better when he goes forward, which I think Pep is trying to get that balance between the two, and I think he picks game by game who plays where according to the opposition. So, but Cancelo, massive shout out. He has been superb. He's had 6 or 7 games on the run where he has been excellent. Wasn't so great in the last game, but wow, this player has really changed my mind on him. And then there's another shout out for this fella, Ilkay Gundogan, a player who was amazing for Dortmund, absolutely amazing for Dortmund, but has really struggled for injuries since he turned up at City. He came with an injury. Pep had every faith in him, but year on year, it was a few games here, a few games there, then another injury, and then another 3 months out. But my Lord, he had COVID, came back from COVID, and he's been like a different player. Peps realised that he's probably not got the legs to play the box-to-box role, but has pushed him further forward. And the likes of Kevin De Bruyne has been injured, which has forced Gundogan to go forward. And he has been our fox in the box. Absolutely amazing. And we knew what an intelligent player he was. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant player. So, yeah, Ilkay, you're going to have to watch. But unfortunately, as the news broke this afternoon, Ilkay Gundogan is not fit for the game tomorrow. So that's one player you're not going to have to look out for. But another player who has been at the absolute bedrock of our defence, that's Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz is fit for tomorrow, according to Pep Guardiola. This player has changed the way we play. And I think Pep has realised now that with the likes of Diaz, Stones and Laporte, we can be solid from the back. We don't need to be as offensive as we have been before. Now we've got this fella, and he is superb. 23 years of age. He's not even reached his peak yet. But this guy has been absolutely phenomenal for Manchester City. So that's why I think we've changed this season. Thoughts on Everton is his next question under Ancelotti, and are we a threat for the top 4? Well, yeah, I'm surprised because I only said it on a vlog a couple of weeks ago, Cameron. I think you could have gone above Liverpool and you could have been in third only, 2 games ago or 3 games ago. And that's quite frightening because it's almost like what City have done. You've snuck under the radar. But then you've had a couple of bad results and you've got some amazing players. You've got Luca Dini, you've got Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, James Rodriguez and Didi. All these players, James Rodriguez, who are playing really, really well. But then you go and lose to Fulham. And if you want that top 4 spot, you just simply cannot be doing that. But I think Ancelotti's done an amazing job. And the thing is, Ancelotti will definitely bring in players for you during the summer. And I think next season only bodes better than it does this season. I was hoping you might have got a top 4 this year. I'm not sure whether you will or you won't. But you've got a very attacking lineup. So it'll be interesting how you set up. Without, I think Calvert-Lewin's out tomorrow for you guys. So it'll be interesting how you set up on there. City player you've been most impressed with this season. It's really hard. It's really hard, Cameron. Which one? I'm going to pick 2. Obviously, Ilkay Gundogan has been absolutely phenomenal, but that's been since Christmas time and post-Christmas time. He's been absolutely phenomenal. But I think there's only one player that I can look at and say this has changed the way that we played and the way that Pep has thought about things, and that's Ruben Diaz. I think he's brought that flexibility now at the back that we can play Joao Cancelo in that attacking role. He commands defences. He commands John Stones, Laporte, whoever plays with him. And he's only 23 years of age. He's absolutely phenomenal. So Ruben Diaz for me is the City player I've been most impressed with. But I mean, I can say Phil Foden, Gundogan, like I said before, Joao Cancelo, and Ederson, and many others. Phil Foden, all of them. But this guy has been, for me, he's been the one that's done it. On to his next question. Everton play you fear coming into the game, and can Ancelotti end Pep's run? Well, you've got Calvert-Lewin that's out, so I'm going to go for Richarlison as the danger player. He's one of those players that's very hit and miss, in my opinion. I know you said James Rodriguez, but for me, Richarlison can give you something a bit different, especially if the crosses with Luca D playing, if he's fit, and the crosses that you get in. But you've got a really, really good squad. It just depends on how much of the ball you have and whether you can hit us in the right areas. So I'm going to say if Calvert-Lewin is out, and if that's true, Richarlison will be the player that I think we'll need to be careful of for our back line. But anyway, on to my lineup, he asked. So here's my lineup for tomorrow. Pep did say he's going to make changes, and this is just a massive guess because with Pep, we don't know what's happening. But I've gone for Ederson in net, Stones and Laporte. I've got a feeling he might rest Diaz for the Arsenal game. So I'm going to go Stones and Laporte. I'm going to bring Walker back this time with Ben Mendy and rest Cancelo and Zinchenko for the Arsenal game. I'm also going to rest Rodri and bring Fernandinho in. Bernardo keeps his place, and this time Foden drops into that 10 role. Raheem Sterling can play every single game 3 times a week, no problem whatsoever. Raheem Sterling on the right. I'm going to bring Torres in on the left and Gabriel Jesus up front because he needs that confidence. But I mean, Jesus, I might be completely wrong when it comes to that particular lineup because who knows? Who knows with Pep Guardiola? As for a score prediction, I think it'll be tight. I do think it'll be tight. I'm going to go for Manchester City to win 2-1. Everton need to bounce back after that Fulham game. So I'm going to go, they'll put in a really good performance, but I think City might shade it. And it'll be Man City 2, Everton 1. But there you go. That's your preview for tomorrow night's game. Everton are coming to the Etihad versus Manchester City. I want to say a massive thank you to Cameron from the Mighty Blues for doing that with us. But guys, take care. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that like button. We'll be back tomorrow on match day and keep an eye out. One thing I do want to do before I go is give out the poll. There was a poll today, and the poll was, what are your results for tomorrow's game versus Everton? And I gave a win, a draw, or a loss. And 5% was a draw, 6% was a loss, and 89% was a win. So there you go. City fans they're confident the way that we're playing, but it's going to be a tough game. But anyway, take care. Have a great evening. Don't forget, if you are a football fan, or you want to go over and check out Cameron and the Mighty Blues, all you have to do is look in the description below and go and give Cameron a shout out over there. But take care, and we'll see you soon.